So it definitely looks like it didn't stream to Rumble. So I just set it up here and I am going to edit this and remove and then re-add. And it should go, right? Save changes. All right.
Okay, I see it sitting out there in Rumble.
You do.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody in YouTube land. I am trying to figure out Rumble and hopefully
Okay, it's up on.
Did it make a whole new one?
Yep.
Oh boy. All right. So let peeps know in the
and we're live
comments.
on Rumble. Yay, we're everywhere now.
So I wonder
Add credits.
Are people over there now? Can everyone see us?
Let's see, we got 3 watching. We had quite a few more than that.
All right. So we're going to obviously give everybody some time to head in. Apparently, I never knew that. So does that happen a lot when you set it for like 9 and you don't go live right away at 9? I've never seen that.
I don't think that's a problem.
I went all the way out and came back in. Hopefully.
Because Sean doesn't start on time.
I know. So I'm confused why that happened.
There's no telling.
Well, everyone, I just got the new notification from Rumble. So hopefully everyone kind of popped out and came back in. Kravitz was smart. He totally did the whole thing. Oh, JC's in. So JC, I don't know what exactly happened, but I'm thinking it said something like you scheduled this stream for 9 p.m. and we didn't start it exactly on the dot, I guess, at 9. So it like YouTube canceled their streaming. It's crazy. Welcome back.
There's Cindy K.
Cindy K is back. Hopefully everyone gets the new update that we're here. You know, the trials and tribulations, I guess, of
this could be a
which means every post that I have out there is going to be different, right? Probably. I wonder if I can. Which one's the new one? Ready to share. It's got to be this one. So we're going to delete this one. Everyone, you're coming right through us again. We're all learning together. Uh-oh, is YouTube working?
YouTube's probably fine.
YouTube is Sean's comment. Good.
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
Oh my God, I can't wait to play that for my grandmother. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, YouTube is doing just fine over there. It's just Rumble. So I am glad everybody is here and you found us all again. And tonight, Chris from My Morning Mayhem, has graciously agreed to go over some of this Hollywood symbols and hidden meanings. And let me tell you, between the two of us, this was a really weird week diving into this one. It was kind of heavy. It was kind of anxiety ridden for some reason. But so tonight I'm going to read the description from what I have. So tonight, Chris from My Morning Mayhem Show and me, we're going to dive headfirst into the fascinating world of hidden symbols and meaning in Hollywood films. We will be exploring some seriously mind-bending stuff. Think hidden messages, secret societies, and the deeper meaning behind iconic movies. Ever wondered what really goes on behind scenes in Tinseltown? What are those subtle clues directors and producers weave into their films? We'll unpack the mysteries surrounding movies like Pinocchio and ask ourselves, were we just too naive to notice them before? What has changed in our society that makes us less likely to question what we see on the screen? Get ready for the wild ride as we decode the silver screen together. Perhaps prepare to have your perspectives challenged and your minds blown. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And before we kind of dive into this topic, Chris and I thought it would be a great idea to try and do a prayer before we do this. So we'll do a prayer before we start tonight, asking for protection and guidance, bringing everything in the dark to light. And then when we end the show, we'll also say a prayer to kind of close off what we're talking about tonight as well. Chris said that he would graciously lead us all in prayer. So I'm going to turn it over.
All right. Yeah, we can do that. So for those that want to, if you'll join me in prayer, I guess I should take my hand off. Be respectful. There we go. All right. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to be on the show tonight, to speak with Gina, to share the information that we found, the studies that we've gone through with the folks that are in the chat. I do always consider this a privilege, one that not everyone gets, and I'm super grateful for that. Lord, as we go through this, we're going to obviously be covering things that are dangerous, things that are scary, things that are meant to tempt us and pull us away from you. I ask a special hedge of protection over us as we do this, not just for Gina and myself, but for those that are getting exposed to this. May they be filled with the peace knowing that you are still God, that no one is above you, and that as long as your hand of protection is on us, we're fine. But with that said, as the symbolism, as the meanings, as the darkness gets exposed, it does have a tendency to affect us mentally, emotionally, even to the point of physically. Lord, I just pray for protection over that, for guidance, for clarity, and for Gina and I as we go through this to have the right frame of mindset to get through it successfully and convey the messages that we've had on our hearts this week as we prepared it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. That was beautiful. That was great. And we do have some videos. I know Chris has some things that he's going to share on his screen as well. But the first thing that I think I'm going to play for all of us tonight is the language of symbols and what that actually means. So I'm going to move Chris and I here. Chris, when I play these, we're still going to be on the screen, so we can either talk during it or just be aware that whatever you say is not muted. Okay. So the first one, like I said, I'm going to play is the language of symbols.
Gateway to the subconscious mind, which eventually filters through to the conscious mind and starts to influence actions. And when you focus on a symbol, you are, through entrainment, syncing your energetic field with what the symbol represents. Doesn't matter if you have a misguided idea of what you think it represents. What it actually represents dictates the frequency, and therefore when you sync with it, there will be an energetic connection through the symbol to that which it represents, because the frequencies are the same. There it is in Freemasonry, because you'll find it in Satanism, you'll find it in Freemasonry, you'll find it in banking, you'll find it in politics, because they all ultimately are worshipping the same gods. And then you look, I mean, this is unbelievable, this. Animated bloody cartoons and stuff. This pyramid and all-seeing eyes frickin' everywhere. I'm not going to go through them all because, of time, but every one of the shots that you're going to see has got that in it. Look at them. All over the bloody place. And this is feeding something into the subconscious of those who watch, overwhelmingly kids. The programming starts subconsciously from the earliest age.
So like I've seen him before talking. He's very knowledgeable. He's a very knowledgeable guy.
He is super. I mean, I could have watched and pinned everything he talked about, but he's very well respected. He's very truth, facts. Here it is. Look for yourself. I mean, he doesn't try to persuade you. He just says, "Here's what I'm telling you. Here are the facts, and you decide for yourself," which is what should happen. You know what I mean? People shouldn't try to persuade you into thinking one way or another. I mean, that's why we have our opinions. Show the facts, and we get to decide from there. That's why we have free will. God gave us
Yeah.
free will for a reason.
Yep. Yep. I know a lot of the symbolism that we're going to run into tonight is going to be a little bit of repeat. A lot of it's going to be that masonry, the all-seeing eye, the was it 13 steps or whatnot. I mean, all the little things that make it up. So I'll say this is something I found out, and this isn't meant to be in any way racist. But what I found out that white Freemasonry and black Freemasonry apparently seem to be very different.
Mhm.
The black Freemasonry, the friends that I have that were affiliated with that, we're always talking about getting together and drinking and hanging out and grilling and, being enlightening and yada, yada, yada. Family members that were in it were, we had family get-togethers. They didn't like drink. They studied out of a Bible. It wasn't the Bible. It was a Bible. It was the Freemason Bible that,
Mhm.
from my understanding, there was a lot of verbiage in that would take out, like references to God and replace it with like fraternity and stuff like that to put the focus back on us as a people. And just to kind of wrap it up, my grandfather was a fairly high ranking Freemason. My dad was involved with them. And I remember when
Really?
I remember when my grandfather passed away. And I don't know when it
So
was,
this,
but
I don't mean to cut you off, but this show app probably hit you really deep then, huh?
oh, yeah, I'm telling you, yeah. So my dad, if the timeline is like I remember it, because it's been a while, he didn't used to like go to church with us on a regular basis. Eventually he did. He rededicated his life to the Lord. He got rebaptized when my mom was first going through her cancer and everything. And prior to that, when he just started going to church on a regular basis, I feel like that's when he left Freemasonry, which apparently that was something difficult for him to do because people kept trying to pull him back in and pull him back in, and he's like, "No, I'm out." And he was proud of his stuff. He had a little gavel on the wall that he had earned from doing stuff, worked with them, and had pictures and everything with the sash and a picture of him and his dad. And I remember when his father, my grandfather, passed away. He was the first person I ever lost. It was heartbreaking. I love my pawpaw, and I was trying to comfort my dad, and I had never seen my dad cry before until then. He lost his father. I could feel him when I was hugging him. I could feel him like doing the, kind of thing. And I said, "Well, we'll see him again in heaven, right?" And he said, "I don't know." And I've never forgotten that. Now, I don't know if that just meant in general, like, he didn't have a personal relationship with the Lord, or if that meant something else. And I can't help but keep thinking that it has ties to, hey, we are live on Dark Side Radio. What's up, Darth Jason? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, hey, everybody on the dark side of the moon. Thank you.
We're hanging out on the dark side tonight. That works out perfectly. But yeah, I don't know. So I do know that I've looked into it. And when I was young, when you're not 18, you can be a young Mason, which is called a DeMolay. So if that name already tingles your ear, DeMolay.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of
That
like every time I type Democrat, when I get to DEM, it always spells demon first on my phone.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then I do the C and it changes it. And I'm like, it's quite
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, so this has some close ties to stuff I've seen a little bit. I've been in the Masonic Lodge around people. I've seen how they have their layout and everything like that. So I've seen some of this stuff, and I just wanted to mention that because I know we're going to mention that multiple times, I think, this evening. And there is I know there's a lot of, it's a secret society, so I know there's a lot of secrecy around it, and people, may not necessarily buy into things. But from my research and my understanding of everything, there's a lot of in the core of it, a lot of nefarious stuff that occurs. Some would say, special secrets are shared that, enlighten you to levels beyond where you're at now for knowledge and all kinds of stuff, and
And doesn't the word
influence and
secret have to do
power.
with like the serpent? Like secrets are a big no-no, aren't they?
Yeah, should be.
I mean,
Um,
secret to me just sounds like serpent, you know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
hush, keep this between us. Like, no, it's not just between us. It's always between me, you, and God, you know what I mean? So nothing is technically a secret and nothing should, I tell my kids all the time, if a grown-up tells you to keep it secret, absolutely not.
No. So anytime tonight we see the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, the Masonic symbol, or anything like that, just know that it, while on the outside of those organizations, which have long roots, they do good works. They really do. But as you get toward the center, I do really believe there's a lot of demonicness afoot. There was and that guy that you just showed, I feel like he was part of it. There was a really cool video I saw one time, a little thing about the lost books of the Bible or whatever, and they were talking about these different books. And there's a part in the Bible where Jesus references that, here's someone who's mightier or more powerful than Solomon. And there's not really a reference in the Bible to what that might mean. And they were saying in the lost books, they said Solomon had a ring and he can control demons, spirits. And that's what he used to control and build Solomon's temple. And somebody enlightened me that the very first Freemasons built Solomon's temple. So if that's true, if the very first Freemasons built Solomon's temple, but the people that built Solomon's temple were actually demons, used by the Ring of Solomon, that this magical ring or whatever he had, what does that tell you?
That this world is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was sitting there thinking the other day, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people do this, and I think you've spoken about this with Mrs. Mayhem. Like sometimes you go back and forth with your faith. You're all in, and then you kind of feel comfortable and you kind of back away slowly, and you're like, well, I was there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you come and you go and you come and you go. And I feel like this time here, more people are awake to all of this. The symbolisms I'm seeing, even when I just typed in certain words, young people, old people, people in between, people are in this, you know what I mean? And they're seeing it and they're exposing it. And there is a lot. Like more stuff than I mean, we could probably do a show every night of the week for everything, even new movies coming out like you guys just did. I'm sure there's hidden things in Captain America and you know what I mean, and all of those for sure. 100%, you know what I mean? So I know when we were speaking, now that we're kind of deep dive in here, I mentioned Pinocchio, and this kind of goes into what I talked about on our show description, that this was here all along. Black and white, sound strong, and they told us all. And I'm going to play that for you to see if you guys remember this as well. Here we go.
He talks about bringing the boys to Pleasure Island, and then he starts whispering what happens to the boys. Watch.
How would you blokes like to make some real money? Well, and who do we have to, No, nothing like that. You see, I'm collecting stupid little boys. Stupid little boys? And you see, and I takes them to Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island. Pleasure Island? But the law, suppose they... No, there's no risk. They never come back as boys.
Jesus Christ.
All right, I tried to hit that before he said the JC, and I wasn't fast enough. But it's right there in a kid's movie. Like, when did we come so blunt? Like, they've had to have been doing this slowly and slowly and slowly until we just disregard it and laugh it off as a joke.
Yeah, we've gotten numb to it. I've got one earlier than that. A beloved cartoon that goes even earlier than that in good old black and white. Show you. I got 20 seconds
Let's
here.
play it. You got full control in there.
Yeah, I do. All right, let's go. Boom. Boom. All right. For those that know, you know. If you don't know,
Oh, the
he's got
whistling
a-
scene.
he's got a solid block of cheese. You see right here, it's a piece of Swiss cheese, which got holes in it, right?
Yeah.
This solid block is going to get holes punched in it. What's he using to punch the holes in there?
No way. You know, I have seen that. Wow. I mean, it's fascinating. And I could have put so many things in here. I mean, from the hidden words, sex and phalluses and the Little Mermaid. I mean,
Little
I have the
Mermaid.
cover here, you know what I mean? You can see it clear as day.
Mm-hmm.
Or what was that one with the mouse? And the mouses, and they have like a picture of woman's boobs in the I should have brought that one up too, but I
Oh, I
didn't
didn't
want to
know
play
that
that
one.
one. Yeah, it's oh my God. Somebody in the comments are gonna know, but it was one of the older movies from like our young generation from the 80s and 90s. And there were mice in it. Come on, guys, help me out in those comments. It'll come to me eventually. But same thing. It was a real woman though, and it wasn't a cartoon woman, like straight up real woman. Yeah, definitely crazy. And it goes through, and now that you brought up that one, I'm gonna actually play a clip that kind of goes right into it of the dark side of Disney. Because this hole that I actually went into, like 80% of it was all Disney, brought me all back to Disney. And it kind of like took me back because that's, you know, where dreams are made out of. And close personal ties to my family. My stepdad's, you know, parents used to work at Disney. Like they used to get us in there all the time. You know what I mean? Like Disney World to me eventually became like going to like Six Flags because I went so many times, you know what I mean? It just wasn't enjoyable or fun anymore. And it kind of makes my whole childhood feel like a lie. Like the tunnels that I'm hearing about and the ties to the Disney cruise, going to Epstein Island for snorkeling lessons. Like this, it brought me down this horrible, disgusting journey that I prayed to God every single night as I do, but even harder this week. You know what I mean? Like I just kept saying to him, I'm not doing this to question anything. I'm doing this to bring the darkness to the light. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and play this next clip of the dark side of Disney. Crazy about that is it's not even just on TV that they're watching, literally on their diapers, their clothing, everything you put on that baby has a frequency. Those symbols, like the gentleman was talking about in the first one that I talked about, every word you say, every piece of clothing you pick up, cotton, microfiber, nylon, linen, it all has its own frequency. So even if you say the word, I don't know, love, if it's not what it naturally was supposed to mean, you're still saying that word with a different meaning in your head, but the vibrations still say something different.
Mhm.
So you're putting these symbols on your kids.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere unless you get them plain clothing and you know, as they get older, you know what I mean? They got to have the latest and the greatest. And now I'm second guessing everything and I'm becoming crazy. like is it popular because it's good, or is it popular because they're pushing it as propaganda? Like, it's so
Yeah.
crazy now. You just don't know.
You know, a lot of stuff is like that. Like when you go to the store for clothes shopping, you know, I know we do a lot online now, but you know, you go to the store, you know, you got the kind of the fashion designer folks decide what's going to be popular that year, and that's what they stock their stores with, whether you
And
want
they
it or
know that
not.
well in advance. My grandmother's a
Yeah.
dressmaker, and they already have next year's lineup 2 years prior.
Yeah. So, and before I worked in my current job, I worked in retail, and it's like, you just see this, you know, these styles come in. It's like, this is the style for the year. It's like, okay, well, what if people don't want that? It's like, well, that's what we're selling. So they're going to have to buy it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I guess that's pretty simple. Jay mentioned it in the chat, and I was actually going to pull it up, and I hadn't yet, but he mentioned it. So it kind of forced me to go ahead and do it. But, before we get off of Disney,
No, keep going. Whatever you got. We're just going to, I mean, we have videos in there and we're just going to play off each other.
so, and look, I'm going to say this too. I think sometimes, and I'm pretty sure we'll mention it later, but Quiet on Set, the Nickelodeon one, I feel like sometimes we make a bigger deal out of things than we ought to. I think it's just innocent things that we're trying, because we're in this frame of mindset. Sometimes we can go like, ooh, they did that, so it clearly is demonic, or it's this, and not necessarily, you know.
I think I know where you're going with that one, because I thought the same thing when I saw it.
Yeah, so there's some things on there. It's like, oh, well, this was clearly racist, or this was sexist, or this was, you know, meant to be this. It's like, I don't know. That's kind of a stretch, but I see where you're going. But like with this one, the hand gesture there for, you know,
That's the one I was
you know,
talking about. All
yeah.
Disney movies, if you look, even from the Jungle Book to the Lion King, or whichever other one it is, they all have the same moves because they use the same pattern over and over and over again, just different characters.
Yeah. So, you know, whether that's demonic or not, I don't know. You know, they're calling out the cat's name was Lucifer. You got Lucifer in the tree and Winnie the Pooh. That looks intentional. The 666 in Walt Disney's had been a big one. And then there was this one. Again, it's got the sixes, but on the chalkboard back there, it says the Illuminati. Over here on the top right, ask about Illuminati. And then the all-seeing eye there on the skateboard. Like right there, like you were saying. I mean, it's right in our faces.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like smack dab right there. And if you're not looking for it, you're not gonna, oops, I don't want to leave the studio. Just kidding. If you're not looking for it, you're not gonna know it's there. But when you see it, some stuff I think again is
intentional,
innocent, and we blow it out of proportion. And but then some stuff is clearly very intentional. I remember there was a I don't even remember what the commercial was for a few years ago. It was when Obama was still in office. I think it was Obama was still in office, if I'm not mistaken. And it was like some random commercial for like hearing aid or smoke detector or batteries or something. I don't know. You know how commercials don't, you know, you never know what they're about until the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about something. And there was a woman watching TV, and you can hear the TV in the background. And it was talking about the president issuing martial law and all this and that. And it's like, why would they pick that as the soundbite? It's almost like they were telling on themselves or putting something out there. So it's very weird to hear, like, especially when you have complete total creative control. Like when I do films, I decorate the walls. So like every plaque, every certificate on the wall, and I've got hidden stuff in mine. Not, and some of it, and in fact, actually on my last film, What the Devil Said, I'll show it to you guys at some point, like I did the other films. But what's really neat, and I hate I'm giving this away now, but it fits the story. Several people's names in the film are names of demons. And if you look closely on the walls, you can see that demon's name and whatnot. And it's not meant for me to push that on it, but it kind of tells you what the character is or who the character is in the story, so to speak, or where they align, I guess. It was very intentionally done, not like, all this Illuminati stuff, but it was meant to tell a story of who these characters are, which if somebody else saw it, they may take it out of context and go, oh, this is clearly a demonic film. It's like, well, technically it is. That's kind of what the story's about when you watch it. But
Yeah.
I'm not pushing demonology or anything like that, so, you got to kind of take it one at a time, I think, to be fair. But yeah, there's definitely stuff being intentionally put out there when you have complete control of your sets, especially animations. You can't accidentally leave something in an animation. Like,
Nope.
like the coffee cup in Game of Thrones. Somebody forgot to take it off the table or whatever. Boom, it's left in there. That doesn't happen in animation. You have complete and total control of everything that's in that screen at that given moment. So if it's there, it's intentional.
Yep. Because it was drawn.
You just went demonic there yourself there. All red.
I don't know why. See, this is the stuff I'm telling you. It's like weird. Let me change the lighting, see if that changes it. That's just weird stuff. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And like you said, back to the cartoons. Here, the demonic possessions and stuff like that. Here's one where I used to watch and my kids watch. You were listening before we went live. My daughter I bought her the Gravity Falls book. But this is some of the hidden meanings that they show you in Gravity Falls.
This creeped me out, and I'm 26. Now, what the heck was I thinking as a kid watching this on Disney? Whatever happens at the end with all this weird demonic possession just is wild. Check this out.
I only have one more try? Well. Someone's looking desperate. Thought I told you to leave me alone. I can help you, kid. You just need to hear out my demands. What crazy thing do you want anyway? To eat my soul? To rip out my teeth? Are you gonna replace my eyes with baby heads or something? Yeesh, kid, relax. All I want is a puppet. A puppet? What are you playing at? Everyone loves puppets, and it looks to me like you've got a surplus. I don't know, man. Mabel worked really hard on these. Seems to me one little puppet is a small price to pay to learn all the secrets of the universe. Besides, what's your sister done for you lately? How many times have you sacrificed for her, huh? And when has she ever returned the favor? Tick-tock, kid. Just one puppet? Fine! So what puppet are you gonna pick anyway? Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny. What? What? This can't be happening! What did you do to my body? Sorry, kid, but you're my puppet now!
Probably an episode I've watched and you don't think of it, but it already instills it whether you see it or not. You know what I mean? It's like when you're walking down and you see somebody with glasses, you wouldn't notice they had glasses, but you would recall later on that they were wearing glasses, not because you specifically focused on it, but you just glanced by it and you saw it. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole, it's so terrifying.
Yes. Back to what you were saying at the beginning, it was just kind of how they've like the frog in the boiling water kind of thing. Like they've eased us into this to where they've gotten hidden message, hidden message, hidden message, and now they're just out bold and in your face,
Yeah.
putting stuff out there because they don't fear anything now. You know, they're like, hey, you know, we've almost got my thoughts on it. You know, we've about got control of this world now. So, you know, we're about got control of it. We're in charge of it, and no one's going to hold us accountable. So, you know,
Yeah, I was. Go ahead.
So yes, I think that's what emboldens them. They think they've got the upper hand on God, and on the world, it would appear that way.
Yeah, and I was reading in all of these deep dives that I was going into that these elites, these people putting these messages in there for all to see, kind of feel like since they're telling you that they're going to do it, it kind of gives them a free pass. Like, well, I told you, you know what I mean? Like that bully on the field that justifies punching you in the face. I told you I was going to punch you in the face if you didn't stop doing this. I told you that, and you still did it. So now it's on you. We've told you that the symbolism's here. We're going to keep putting it in there, but now it's your fault because you are watching it. We told you, you know it's there. Here you go. And they kind of put it on you, and it kind of feels that way. You know what I mean? Like, but what are you supposed to do? I mean, it's difficult in this day and age where everything is here, and you're a filmmaker. You know what I mean? We have our podcast. We have to deep dive. The kids have school projects. It's the forbidden fruit. You know what I mean? And it makes sense that on your device, there's an apple with a bite taken out of it. How much more subliminal can you get? It's an apple with a bite out of it. In my hand.
Your hand.
And I can't give it up. I could. I probably should. You know what I mean? But they're all the same. It's all tied together. But in the same point, without these, I never would have met all you beautiful people. So it's crazy. It's scary.
Sean's got an interesting point, but I don't
I'm
think
reading the comments.
I don't think that's what it is, bud. Maybe it's
I
in the
think
movies and shows
there could
because
be
they're
some
warning you.
people. I don't think I do see Sean's counterpoint, and there are people like you in cinematic, you know what I mean, world, where you could be warning people, hey, listen, I'm putting this there to kind of show you without, you know, the people up top coming down on me, you know, like that hidden, you know what I mean? Like, don't eat the fruit, you know what I mean? Like, and they tell you not to do it, and they're warning you, you know what I mean? So I can see it from both sides. There has to be good people out there to warn us. But in the same point, not everybody.
Yeah,
And who do you believe?
If it's going through Hollywood,
Holly weird.
if it's going through them, a major studio, and it's got that symbolism in there, I don't think there's any good to come from it. That's just me. I think if they're an independent artist, they could do that.
But even like the movies the Obamas did, showing us like the whatever the end of the world one. I still haven't come to watch it because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But you see all the stuff. The boat already happened. The planes are happening. When the Teslas are next, I'm hearing that they're all just going to, you know what I mean? Like, is that, could that be a warning? Could that be telling us this is what's coming? Prepare yourself. Or is this them saying, hey, haha, this is what's going to happen and you can't do anything about it?
So that's an interesting concept there. The knowing ahead of time what's going to happen. Again, I think to have that knowledge, that steeps into that Freemasonry again, that 33rd degree Mason and whatnot there in that inner circle, that knowledge of things to come. You know, a lot of people will point to like the Simpsons and the things that they predicted ahead of time. In that case, they weren't, I don't know what they were doing. Were they saying, "Hey, this stuff's going to happen," or were they saying, "Ha, this stuff's going to happen"? It's kind of
That's what I
mind-boggling to think of how
mean.
much is in there. It's hit and miss. You don't know, and I think the only way to really have any kind of indication of that is who is doing it, who is the filmmaker, who is the editor, who is the writer, who is the actor, and if you're not finding any good from this person, if they're not a person of upstanding character, pretty good chance they're not trying to be, enlightening in what they're doing. They're being like several people have said in the chat, the desensitization. They're trying to
Yeah.
soften you up for the bigger blow that's coming next.
Well, it's kind of
I
like
mean,
that.
that's
You
what I
mentioned The
think.
Simpsons. That's Matt Groening, right?
Yep.
And they're saying The Simpsons were before Futurama, which is,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? The future, where he finds a city underground, which was the old New York, and now there's a bigger city above it. Are they telling you this is what's going to happen? And Futurama kind of stopped going for a little while, and now all of a sudden, the last year or two, they've come out with new episodes.
I watched The Simpsons when I was little, for a little while. Never watched Futurama, but yeah, The Simpsons.
I
been
love
for a
Futurama.
long time.
And this is the problem. Futurama is a really good show,
Oh, I'm sure
but
it
they
is.
also kind of have the same things. I don't know what is happening upstairs. It should be bedtime though.
Murder and mayhem. Mom's Murder and Mayhem. We're gonna change the show.
Yeah.
But well, here's the thing too is Lucifer, was kicked out of heaven, and Lucifer was the angel of music, of song. And when you think about, I know we're talking about Hollywood now, but the music industry it would almost be easier to cover them in the symbolism that they have. But when you look at the music industry, like the best songs that are out there are probably tied to, demonic possession or influence or whatnot. And that's because, you're dealing with the angel of music that potentially influenced that song or that songwriting. Saw a video the other day that like one dude wrote like 8 of the top 10 Billboard hits recently. Like at any given time, like 4 to 8 of the top 10 songs were written by one guy. Just one
What
guy
are the odds?
for all these different artists. And they go to him and he just says, "Here, sing this." He arranges the music and he gives the lyrics. He has everything. Here you go, boom. And Led Zeppelin's got some banging tunes. Love me some Led Zeppelin. My wife loves Led Zeppelin. She's got the record. We'll listen to it. It's like, yeah, Stairway to Heaven, everything, right? Well, they were staying in Aleister Crowley's place when they were writing some of this stuff. In fact, Jimmy Page, I think, bought Aleister Crowley's residence and lived there. I don't know if he still does or not, but yep. And they said when they were writing Stairway to Heaven, they didn't write it. They said a spirit was writing it. They just wrote it as they were told. It was like their hand was just moving,
like a medium.
Yeah. And which is funny because what is the name of Aleister Crowley's book?
Oh,
God, I can't
guess
think of
the
the name of his
dog
book.
wanted to join.
Hey, like mine last night. Look at there. But
Yeah,
Aleister
she
Crowley's
just jumped
book,
right up.
he said the same thing, that a large portion of his book, his writing, was he was like demonically possessed, or his wife was, or something like that, and it was just written. And
That's so crazy.
yeah, I think they said Stairway to Heaven and Kashmir were both that way, and those are 2 of their biggest hits, for Led Zeppelin. And a lot of other artists, have the same thing. And then, I've got my opinions on Kanye West, but this was a dude that came out singing and praising God, and then just basically went through hell, with the industry, I would assume, with his personal life, being attacked left and right. And I think he's not completely through it, but you've seen good and you've seen bad. The dude's cranked out some amazing, amazing hits. We were watching The Hangover the other day again, and it was like, there's some great Kanye in there, and I think
Well, they
about all
always
the other
tell you
great
you
Kanye
got
songs.
the devil on one side and the angel on the other. You always had those little, you know what I mean? The cartoons.
Yeah.
So I feel like when there's good, Kanye comes out and he says, guys, read between the damn lines. And then they made him out to be crazy. They're like,
Yeah.
you're not, you're crazy. Don't believe this guy. And then all of a sudden he like goes back to Yee, like his whole little whatever happened on X the last few months or weeks, you know what I mean? And then he goes to that, and then he'll go back to singing like gospel music and preaching, and it's like, did the possession take back over? Is he really fighting one? And he has to be fighting one.
Yeah. I mean, people sell their souls. I mean, that's a real thing that happens. I mean, I played it. I think you may have even been on the show. I can't remember, but with Sean. But it was that clip, or maybe it was on my show, and you were, I don't remember, but play that clip of Bob Dylan saying that he was still touring after so many years, and he was asked, "Why are you still doing it after all these years?" He goes, "I got to keep up my end of the deal, my end of the bargain."
Yeah.
He said, "With who?" He said, "You know, the head chief of this world and
Yeah.
beyond." And he never said God. I mean, I guess that's his God, maybe, but yeah. But yeah, it's interesting that, you know, the music industry, the entertainment, it's all entertainment, it's all art, and and the demonic influence is definitely in there in all of them, and some of it is directly demonic. I think some of it is sneakily demonic, as far as like the Masonry, Illuminati stuff. You know, it's not necessarily directly demonic unless you know it's directly demonic. Some of it is directly demonic, satanistic, worship of idol, all kinds of stuff like that. And then you've got the other stuff, which is still technically demonic, but your pedophilia stuff that's in, you know, scattered about in all this, you know, and God, so many stories on that. But that is both presented on screen, and it's something that happens off screen. And as far as initiation, right, in so many ways, and something that people have been screaming about for years, and people were just kind of like, oh, that you know, Corey not Haim, the other one, Corey Feldman, yeah, he's a nut. Don't listen to him. Granted,
Yeah.
he is a nut. He is a nut.
Well, it goes
But
back to, like you said, the pedophilia stuff. They made those names gloriful. You have your sugar daddies. Are you a sugar baby? You know, I need a sugar dad. And then you have your cougars. So they kind of made those names and glorified them. Like, oh yeah, this is my sugar daddy. You know what I mean? And it's all in those songs and those movies, like you said. So Joyce says, we are getting closer to the end of times, so they're not even trying to hide it anymore because so many have become desensitized to it, and they just think it's a conspiracy theory and not true.
So there's an episode of South Park, which I enjoy watching South Park. I enjoy watching South Park at night when I'm just like, shut. Here's my thing. I work all day, and then when I get off work, I keep working. Like I'm working on the podcast. I'm getting stuff for church. You know, hopping on Sean's podcast. I'm trying to think of guests for that, preparation for that, trying to edit the films that we've got shot that's on the computer. I've gotten back into editing that. We're writing the feature length film. I've got to, you know, hang out with the family. I'm trying to find stuff for us to, you know, my brain's always going. And I like that because an idle mind is the devil's playground for sure. And I mentioned this on the show a couple of weeks ago. Don Handy, I keep saying Duh and Handy reached out to me specifically about that. But yeah, when my wife was battling a you know, that spiritual warfare that she was going through, and she had her breakthrough, I sat in the bed and I put on South Park, and as soon as I shut my mind off and relaxed it, I heard 1,000 voices telling me to kill myself. Like my face got warm and it was just flooded, and I was like, where is this coming from? But I knew it was a spiritual attack because I knew that. But someone who didn't know that or isn't, you know, in tune, you know, they may, you know, my heart breaks. I mean, somebody could take that and go like, okay, you know, and give into that influence. But I do shut off the brain sometimes. I put on South Park. I fall asleep to it. Usually you know, on a nice heating pad on my back, you know, because I'm out of shape. But but one of the episodes on South Park, which is where I was going with this whole thing, ADHD. Sorry, thanks, Sean. But one of the episodes of South Park.
Hold
was
on.
about school.
I'm gonna pause you for 1 second. I know this has nothing to do with the show we're doing tonight. But Dan Bongino was just named the next deputy director of the FBI.
No way.
Yep. From Donald Trump right there.
Right on.
Okay, now we can go back. I just thought that was super exciting. Someone just sent that to me. I was like, hey,
That's
I bet you
wonderful.
Lou is wicked excited right
Oh,
now.
I bet Lou is. Yeah. Good night.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. That
Forget
was
where.
just exciting.
Yeah. South Park. So there was an episode of like school shootings, and you know, and the kids were just walking home, and you could hear like the gunshots in the background, and they're just walking home, and they're at dinner with their parents. Like, anything exciting happened? It's like, no, just this and this, and another school shooting. And they're like, and the mom's like freaking out. The dad's like, what? You know, oh, Randy. But like, mom's freaking out. It's like, this is a big deal. And like, she's trying to get all the other parents riled up. Like, this is a big deal. Why is everybody like acting like it's not a big deal? And he's like, she's on the rag. It's you know, just ignore her. You know, he's doing and like, everyone's thinking she's the crazy one. And she's the one like, this is a big deal. We need to realize that our kids are in danger and this and that and everything. Right. And to me, it goes to show, you know, here, they're saying in the chat, he is director. He's director. He's directly under Cash. Yeah. And but that goes to show how desensitized we are to this stuff. Because now, well, I'll tell you, I grew up in just up the road. I don't live in Macon, Georgia anymore, but Macon, Georgia usually tops in the top 10 of like most dangerous cities in the United States. And not shocking at all. So like on the news, when I see that somebody's shot and killed or whatever, I just kind of scroll on by it. I've gotten so desensitized to it. It's like, it's just another day in Macon. Now, if I see something out here where I'm at, I'm like, hold on, wait a second. School shootings. I think some people have gotten so passive on that, like, you know, it's just going to happen, which is sad. I mean, I know there's limited things we can do to avoid them. I think there's more we could do. That's a whole nother discussion there. But at the same time, like we can't fall numb to this stuff and just say it is what it is. And again, I think, you know, Joy, Jay, so many people in the chats saying basically that's what they're doing. Like, here's all this, because you're going to see it more and more and more and more and more. And we want you to just to be completely desensitized, because not only are we coming for you, we're coming for your kids. And, you know, it won't throw you off by seeing it because you're desensitized, and we're getting to them at a young age. So they're prepared for it. They're ready for it. So if they see it, it's familiar. There's familiarity there. They're attracted to, people are attracted to things that are familiar, and scared of things that are strange or danger, you know, different. And so if you're exposed to it, you know, it's safe. It's okay. You're drawn to it like a moth to a flame.
Yeah, 100%. And with all of this going on, with Kravitz saying they be in trouble now because Dan Bongino had done B. So that kind of ties in. Here we go with do I have it here? I hope I didn't delete it. That's A Bug's Life. Where's the other one? Hold on. I think I might have to add it again. So, this one.
While you're doing that, back to what Joy was saying, was like, it does feel like it's the end times. You know, I know every generation says that, but like, there's so many people like genuinely moving to the Lord right now. I'm not going to call anybody out that's in the chat, but there's several people starting to question things more and more. And then a friend of mine the other day that's very close to my wife and I, the wife isn't interested in coming to the Lord anytime soon, from my understanding. But the husband, who I also didn't think was, and kind of threw things around to where, I was like, he's not a lost cause. He's open for discussion, but he's not really interested. Out of the blue the other night, he hit me up and said, dude, I think I had a moment with God and I really want to talk to you about it. And can you be free and let's talk? And I'm like, yes. And so I'm seeing people that would never come to the Lord starting to now open up and question things and start to come to the Lord. We're doing a great study in church right now through Revelation, and we're talking about the different churches and the different times and where we're at now, being lukewarm, being on fire for God or completely dismissive. And it's a fantastic study. Obviously, Revelation is probably one of the most interesting studies there is in the Bible, especially for non-believers to get introduced to, stuff, because there's a lot there. But yeah, one of the things they say is more people are going to come to the Lord in the end. And I'm very, very excited about that. I just hope we don't run out of time.
I feel like, yeah, but I feel like God is, he's all knowing, right?
Yeah.
He sees it. He senses it. He knows they're trying. And I believe in my heart, if he sees that and he knows that you're trying and you're finding the light, I feel like maybe there's a little, I don't want to say detention, like after school, like a Saturday suspension, but maybe there's a second part to help with that final ascension to get you to where you are on your path to go.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
Back to the whole B movie.
B.
This is the real B movie. I played one earlier for Chris, and my daughter
Yeah.
was like, "That's not the B movie, Mom." So here's the actual B movie one. Here we go.
Stay in the job that you pick for the rest of your life.
The same job for the rest of your life? I didn't know that.
What's the difference?
So you'll just work us to death?
We'll sure try. Larry, what do you think the meaning of life is?
Work. It's important to be useful. Look at me. I got it all figured out. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work, I work all day, I go home, I go to sleep. I get up, I shower, I come to work.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Right in a kid's movie. In all of them. And the Bugs Life one, I have the first minute before he gets to that whole thing that I played for Chris, so I will play that too. But again, they tell us from the very beginning at a young age, you're going to be stuck at a dead-end job, and that's what you're just going to do. That's our purpose. And that's not our purpose. Obviously, we have to have society, and we have to have rules and regulations and, our faith, but the way they portray it, that was terrifying. I wouldn't want to get old.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And I'm going to go ahead, just so it's fresh in everybody's mind, play the first half of the Bugs Life one. So here we go.
There was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant.
One ant. Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss, they're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
There we go. But this kind of goes back to what what Sean was saying.
Mhm.
Is this a warning? Is this them saying if we all stand together, we can take them down? With somebody telling us, you know what I mean? Both sides here. Is this them saying, hey, haha, you can't do anything? Or is this them saying, hey, you guys outnumber us. You can do something.
Yeah, I think that specifically like the one with the working, just working. I think was definitely a wake up call. Like, let me make this as boring and as awful as it sounds, so people will not want to just do this their whole life. That's the one I grasped onto, thinking like, yeah. I think that's more of the warning or deterrent. Like, that's not what life is all about. It was more sarcastic there, But at the same time, who knows? Because when kids go to school, they're trained to work. That people in general, through schooling, are trained to be followers and not leaders, to be subordinate, to be, clock in at a certain time, go to a certain place, do a certain job, and then you get to go home and repeat the next day. It is very, very much so preparation for the workforce in that sense. Not enough actual training of the mind to think, and that sucks. So I mean, maybe it's something like that. But to me, I'm with Sean on that one. That was one of the ones that seemed more like you don't want to do this, so I'm going to put it in here, make it sound awful, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I had myself muted because someone was in the kitchen being awfully loud. But Joy says, Gina, that one, in her opinion, is definitely a warning. It was someone trying to tell us to stop being divided.
It's a good
And to
lesson there.
further that, she says it's to stop just doing as we have been told to do, to think for ourselves for what is right. So it's just, like I said, it's all deep, and I didn't know even some of these, you know what I mean? And like you said, these celebrities, they're out there telling us. I mean, look at this one.
You don't know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't know, David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati.
And that kind of goes to these celebrity pictures. Look at that one. Even climate change here.
How dare you?
Or
yeah, but to me, the
this
Jim Carrey one to me it seemed like it was, I don't know, because he seems like he's kind of waking up a little bit, but he does seem like he was kind of saying like, hey, look at how silly this is. This is this conspiracy theory kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Was he mocking us? Like, hey, I'm just going to put it right out there and nobody's going to blink an eye because they're going to think I'm being stupid. You know what I mean? But you can see it in all of these photos with the hand gestures and the coverings and stuff that I didn't want to even put in here, like, my mind just went blank because obviously I shouldn't say it, but because it was right there. So I feel like that was kind of a sign not to kind of go down that road. So we're going to go the other way. But Here we go. If you know what this symbolizes, then you understand just how dark and twisted the industry behind it truly is. The world may turn a blind eye, but justice is coming. For it is written, as I live, saith the Lord, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to God. Romans 14:11. So everything's going to come to light, and it's all coming to light. But yeah, that one with Jim Carrey there, to me that almost kind of like was like, I don't know, just him being smug about it. I don't
Well,
know
if you
how
can make
like
fun, if you can make fun of a conspiracy theory, right, and make it seem super silly, you kind of cut
Yeah.
them off at the pass. It's like, okay, well, let me just make this. And like Sean was saying, he did kind of word it like the Illuminati. Basically
Yeah.
saying, if you believe in this crap, if you're one of these conspiracy theorists, you're nutty. This is ridiculous. Let me tell you how stupid this is. He's like, well, you
They're
know, gotta
mocking
believe
it.
him. Yeah.
Exactly.
But we know better. One of the, and I'm not the biggest fan of the movie itself, shockingly, because I love Stanley Kubrick. But that Eyes Wide Shut movie, I can't believe he was able to make that movie. Like,
Which one
have
was
you
that
seen
one?
it? That's the one. That was his last movie. And it had Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in it. And it was basically exposing secret societies, you know, and they would come in and they'd wear the masquerade mask, and they'd end up like this room over here would have, you know, people going at it on top of tables with food. And then over here, these people were going at it, and everybody was wearing masks and everything. And you didn't know who was who, but like the people that were running it knew exactly who everyone was. So like if you got there and you weren't supposed to be there, they knew it. Or if they knew
I don't
who
know if
you
I've
were
seen
and
that
you
one.
got it is, I didn't watch it for the longest because I was like, it looks lame. But I watched it and I was like, I watched it after I woke up to the symbolism and the meanings of all this stuff. So when I watched it, it was an amazing film because I was like, holy crap. They're just saying it. They're just showing it. I've seen great, I don't know what you want to call them, little storytelling sessions on YouTube where people are like, I got invited to a party. This is the thing that happened. In the first room, everybody was doing this. Then we moved to the orange room and this was happening. And then we moved to this one. And then I went back the next day and the place was completely vacant. Like nobody lived there. You know, or I said something to somebody. I got kicked out because I wouldn't do what it took to get to the next room. So I walked
Cat
around the back,
Williams.
and Cat Williams spoke about it. Cat Williams
Yep.
spoke about it, and I had pulled the clip on that. Cat Williams spoke about the Illuminati over 8 years ago, in a press thing for Scary Movie. Let's see, Scary Movie 5, and he was talking about how if you don't do what you're supposed to do, they'll sting you, and you're stirring up a hornet's nest and all this and that. And that's when I was like, okay, I already think Cat's funny. Now Cat's onto something, and he's down to expose it. So I was focused on Cat from then. Whenever Scary Movie 5 came out, I've been watching him since then, like listening to him and following him. And they put him through the ringer. I mean, through the ringer. And for him to come out this past year and say everything's going to come out in 2024, it's getting exposed. He wasn't wrong. You know, you got Diddy, and just think of what happened when Trump got elected. You know, that put the card in motion.
That put the fear
for
of God
everything
in
that's happening
people.
now. You got the Epstein list is sitting on the desk of Pam Bondi, ready to go out. You know, she's got the JFK stuff. She's got the Epstein list ready to go out. You got everything with Diddy that's being exposed. You've got
And his
DC
lawyer quit.
corruption and everything. The lawyer quit. Yeah, there's so much going on. So even if it didn't happen exactly in 2024, something's happened in 2024 that's rolling into it. It's almost like he knew from his insider scoops, like, this is it. This is when everything starts getting exposed. Y'all get ready. And he wasn't wrong. It was an entertaining year for those of us that were in the know and that were looking for it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. But yeah, if I can recommend a film, guys, Eyes Wide Shut may not be worth more than one watch if it's not your thing. And yeah, I think Sean said it, boobies all over the place, so there's that for you if you like that. But the depth of the story, if you can look at the story and what they're saying and what they're exposing, even in the broad sense of everything, not like every last little detail, but ceremonially, the knowledge that's in those groups, the connections that are made within those groups, there's a lot of symbolism that's right there being exposed. And to some, it's just a movie. But if you know. Now I want to go back and I want to show it to my wife. Because
we know what you're going to be watching this week.
Here's the thing about my wife. She will get on a kick sometimes where she wants to have those really, really deep conversations, but then sometimes she's so overwhelmed with how deep they go. And she's recently kind of gotten to this point that she's gone so deep that it almost scares her. And
this scared me this week.
Yes. When I was writing my film that I was talking about, the horror film that I did, when I
still won't watch that.
Psychological stuff. Yeah, that's my big winner. But it's actually semi-based on a true story that happened to me. So and just going back there in my mindset and studying things. Cause again, I was pulling up names of demons. I was literally searching names of demons and stuff. And I was looking at, different things that could happen to your body to envision certain things. Like I was deep in research, and I felt presence around me and stuff. Like it started messing with my mind. And so my buddy John and I that worked together on our films, when we were working on these things, he's like, dude, do you feel a little weird when you were doing it? I was like, yes. He goes, I'm reading it, and now I feel awkward. Like the script before we shot anything. He's like, I feel like I'm not alone, and I'm completely alone. I'm like, I don't know if you are now. It's weird. It messes with your mind. And my other buddy, the one that reached out to me about having his God moment that he wants to talk about. When I first started doing my podcast, it's so many negative stories in the news. Yeah. Sean covers so many of them, all these things that teachers are doing with students and stuff. And, we can laugh and say that's disgusting and but how demonic, how evil. And when you just stay in that rut for so long, it can really eat away at you. So it's good to step away sometimes, or it's good to cover a different line of stuff sometimes. But, studying for, getting ready for this show and searching and searching, and just knowing that not only is the computer caching and remembering the stuff that I'm searching, but I am too. So I'm seeing everything and I'm storing everything. And as I look at one thing, something else is in my head, and it's just regurgitating these thoughts and this darkness over and over again. And it really has been kind of difficult to get through the week thinking about this. It's weird it's interesting how strong that can be at times.
Gonna need a fun topic next week.
Yeah.
Fun one. Exactly. It was definitely a heavy week across everywhere. I feel like even all the exposure, waiting for a cache to be chosen. You know what I mean? I feel like it was just heavy all around. And I'm going to play this one. This is what I was trying to tell you.
What?
Goes much deeper and into human sacrifice. They have abused kids. Yeah. It's stomach turning. I don't care how much in the movies that they put, the horror movies and the stories, when it comes to kids and stuff like that, even in the horror movies and the news, that is something I will never be desensitized to. I see everything that is happening to those kids. I see it and I feel it.
Yeah, Joy, I've got some stuff on that I'll pull up in a little bit when she gets through with hers. It's not necessarily in film, but it's in Hollywood, and we're talking about Hollywood, so I'll pull that up in a little bit and talk about that. But yeah, I that was a great comment.
Yeah, I have 3 more left that I'm going to play. This one here I found to be very interesting. Again, they're telling us.
Gentlemen, a demonstration. This is what those kids think they're hearing on those headsets. And this is what they're really hearing.
Conform. Free will is overrated. Jump on the bandwagon.
Hey, that voice. I know that voice. It's,
It's Mr. Movie Phone.
Yes!
He does all our subliminal tracks.
There is no such place as Area 51.
Excellent work, Fiona. These kids will never know what hit them.
For like, of course, the next few hours, I was like, welcome to Movie Phone.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the movie They Live?
No, wait, maybe. My husband has me watch all these cool movies and stuff. And he just puts them on and he's like, babe, watch this. And I'll watch it.
You've seen clips from it.
Probably.
Of it. It's got Roddy Piper in there. And he's got these sunglasses. When he puts them on, he can see, like it shows like a Coca-Cola sign. And then he puts the sunglasses on, it says obey or, consume. And he can put them on and he can see different monsters. It's a John Carpenter film. And, he's a lower budget guy. But yeah, it's got him, and I love Keith David. Oh, he's one of my favorites, kind of character actors. But it is one that y'all gotta see. But it's like that the whole movie, to where it really is. He puts on the glass and it says obey, consume, whatever, and it's all that subliminal message he can see through it. It's called They Live. A lot of people probably, there was a 5-minute fight. It was great. Yes, it was.
Put on the
awesome.
effing glasses.
I love me some Keith David. He's like Roddy Piper too, but yeah, that's a good. And I like John Carpenter. John Carpenter's got a lot of great films. In The Mouth of Madness is another one that most people don't know about, and it's a fantastic film. But I can go on and on about him.
Oh, Mr. Grundy is going on a magic ride, considering he got 500 milligram THC juice. Oh my God. Have fun. I'll catch you on the outro there. Since they're making so much noise in my kitchen, I am going to play a clip to try to mute them down for a few minutes.
Okay.
Da-da-da. You're welcome, guys. Hold on. Here we go.
The Illuminati.
Really? I don't know. I'll stop all our domination plans. I'll pull my lizard men out of Congress. We'll stop using Hollywood to hasten the New World Order.
Joined the sacred order of the stonecutters, who since ancient times have split the rocks of ignorance that obscure the light of knowledge and truth.
Wow! George Washington Carver didn't invent peanut butter.
That's right. You're one of the few people outside of the Illuminati who knows this secret.
The Illuminati?
That's who's chasing us. A secret society dedicated to concealing this truth at all costs. This is their mysterious symbol.
I got one more I'm going to play. And then Chris, I know, has a few that he's going to pull up.
What's with this symbol in every Blue's Clues scene? There they are. On the babies. There they are. End of the scene. And they're gone. I don't know, man. Seems a little sus. I mean, and it's the wallpaper half the time. This is a hard one. It's in the basket. It's on a snail.
Literally right there. And if you know what the symbols mean, then it's hard not to miss. Like you said, this one's kind of hard, but it's in there. They throw it in there. They didn't have to do that. And like you said, with cartoons, it's harder because that's intentional.
Yeah, I mean, that wallpaper could have been anything. And they chose that symbol. And Sean, you're 100% right. I feel like in that is that they are trying to make fun. Like we were saying with the Jim Carrey thing, they're calling it out and making fun of it now to make light of it, to make us feel like we're dumb, that we believe in the Illuminati and the symbolism and everything like that. It's not so much hidden messages, hidden symbols. When they're doing that, I think in other ways there are, like you were saying, like when it's in the background of a shot and it's not mentioned or anything. I believe it's placed there intentionally, obviously, but for when they're making that the story and they're talking about it and it's in a comedy and they're talking about it in a comedic way or an off-putting way, it's definitely to like you said, lull cow or whatever it is, you know, meme it or whatever, to make it seem like it's nothing, to throw you off the trail, to throw you off the scent, because technology and social media has really allowed us to expose more of the wickedness that's out there. And so their only options were to either lie, to dispute it, or to somehow, you know, turn around, make fun of it so people would think you're crazy. You know, it's gaslighting 101 there, you know. And so yeah, and look, and if anyone's going to know how to deceive, it would be the master deceiver, you know, Satan himself. I mean, that's what he does. He lies, cheats, steals, kills. He's the master deceiver. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. No question about it.
Yep. It's terrifying for sure, considering, like you said, it's literally everywhere on our phones, in our caches, in our grocery stores, when we're driving down the street. It's literally everywhere. So even though this week it was hard, and it's hard watching all of these, knowing what these different symbols mean, we have to bring that darkness to light to inform more people so they're aware to, you know, say their prayers even harder at night, you know what I mean? And not fall to the devil, you know what I mean? You're aware of what it is now, and you can not follow that.
She broke my tree.
I'll figure it out later. I'm not doing this right now. Please. I will when I'm done. My girls, one's 14 and one's going to be 11, and they're at each other's. Why don't you guys go say, I know she broke it. We will figure it out when I'm done, please. Okay? Emma, I don't want that face because I know you did. Go.
I did because she was hitting me.
Go. Go brush your teeth, and you should be in bed already. Sorry, guys. There's the mom's portion of the mayhem.
Yeah, moms.
Oh, the mystery is why did the child break the other child's things?
The mayhem was the breaking of it. And I am the mayhem at my morning mayhem.
So why don't you go ahead and plug your channel?
Plug my channel? Okay.
Plug your channel.
We'll go with the mayhem here,
Go to bed, please.
the madness here. So I'm Chris of the Morning Mayhem. You can find me on pretty much all socials at My Morning Mayhem. YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Minds, Odyssey, X, Gab, Truth Social, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. If they got it, I got it. So, you can find me there. Got a weekly show I do Friday mornings at 10 a.m. It's about an hour or so. Sometimes I have some folks on like I did this past week and have little interviews. We talk about all kinds of topics from political news to pop culture news. Obviously, that's something I'm into. And and then the first Monday of every month, I do my own live stream. I only do it the first Monday of every month right now. And the next one's coming around March 3rd. It's going to be a nerd stream. I'm really excited. We're going to talk about the films and projects that are coming out this year, our thoughts on those, and got a great panel lined up. I'll be announcing that this week on X, and excited about that. And of course, on Saturday nights, I do stream with the man, the myth, the legend, the Canadian wiener himself, Sean of Third Railify on Off the Rails, and last night was interesting. But yes, I stream with him on Saturday nights, and I'm excited about
that. Last night was beyond interesting. I tried not to fall asleep, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And every time I'd be like right there, and I'm like, all right, I'm falling asleep with the phone in my hand. I was like, I need to go to bed. And I like put my phone down, but you guys were like still playing in the background. I was like getting changed, brushing my teeth, getting ready to get myself back into bed. And I was like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden I hear Sean like laughing, going, Chris, we can still hear you. We can't see you, but we can still hear everything that's happening. And I was like, this is great. This is like the laugh I needed after, the heavy week of research in this and everything. I mean, there were a ton of stuff from, Monsters, Inc., where they harvest the screams of children to produce energy for their town. And then, you know what I mean? And just all like, it was great. Your wife made me laugh and made me forget. And it was so enjoyable. And watching you like completely humiliated, you were like, oh my God, what is happening? Like it was funny. And then I had the mayhem. So usually they're not this bad, but we just had February break. So it has been late nights, more lenient on screen time and, what they're kind of doing. I did let, the TV kind of babysit a little bit more than usual. And this is the outcome. They're just completely overstimulated by that's just 1 week. Just 1 week of not a set schedule and more screen time, and it's complete and utter chaos. So when we say our final prayers, say one extra for Gina's household, and the morning bus routine won't be totally havoc here. Yep. Laughter does cure. Laughter is the best medicine. And if you can't learn to laugh at things, then I don't know. I feel like without joy, you're just completely miserable.
For sure.
Yeah. So your wife, tell her thank you.
Yeah, I'll let her know.
She may have to come on one night.
Okay.
Before the boxed wine.
Yeah.
Maybe after she smokes and before the wine.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it was funny because she got home and she had a couple of drinks at the little thing that she was at. She's like, I'm good. I said, okay, well, we're going to be on for like 2 hours. You want me to fix you like some Sprite or something like that before we sit down? She's like, yeah, fix me a little wine. And I was like, no, like a drink, like something, you can sip on. She's like, wine. I was like, whatever. So I went and I fixed her a wine and I brought it in here. But then she thought I wasn't going to do it. So she fixed herself another wine. And so when she sat down here, she had 2 wines, 2 glasses of wine. Essentially, the amount that they hold was a bottle. So she basically had, over the course of the show, a bottle of wine while we were doing the stream last night. So progressively,
I could see it. She was getting more flushed.
got more out there. So yes.
Oh, yep.
I had a couple of margaritas the other night and I was through. Like, I don't drink that often, which is great because I was borderline alcoholic at one time. So like now if I have like a couple of drinks, I'm like, I'm such a lightweight. I love it.
Right. During COVID was bad. And then after COVID, I was like, okay, time is up. You know what I mean? So it's been, I think it's been, well, New Year's Eve, it was 3 years. So like 3 years, 2 months, I haven't had a drink. So watching people drink, it's like, oh, that's the stages. It's like, hey, how you doing? You have your friendly outgoing. And then it turns into like silly gigglies. And then it turns into the I'm sorry's. And then it turns into the tears. And I'm like,
the emotional stuff.
oh. I'm like, that's deep, man. Yeah. I just stick with my, the plant from God.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot. It helps with anxiety. It helps with my appetite. I have this really bad situation where once I get into the groove of something, like when I get up and I start cleaning, I'll forget to eat. I'll drink all day because I have this attached to me 24/7 and I'll be doing whatever, but for some reason I forget to eat. So like, and then I have the neuropathy in my feet. So it helps with like the pain, with the nerves. And like my daughter will come home and be like, did you eat? I'm like, no, but look at the walls. And she's like, yeah, the walls look great. But did you eat? I'm like, no. You know what I mean? So I feel a lot better. You know what I mean? I'm more in control. It's not something that I go out to dinner and you know what I mean? Like you have to have a drink at dinner, and I have a lot of friends that I used to party and hang out with where I'm like, and you go like, oh, it's New Year's Eve. I can drink. And I'm like, just go one holiday. If you can't go one holiday with the excuse of, oh, well, it's this holiday, then you may have a problem, you know?
Yep.
But everyone's got their journey in life. Everyone's path's already been written, and it's something we all go through.
Absolutely.
But it's fun.
Life can be.
It's a fun. Yeah.
Life
it can be also
be.
terrifying.
It can be
night.
that too.
Thanks for the follow, Frosty Guy. So New Year's is amateur night. It definitely is. Although the biggest holiday where we used to go out is Thanksgiving Eve. That's actually the most dangerous time. The night before Thanksgiving is the biggest drunk driving holiday in the entire year.
Interesting.
Weird, right? I never knew that.
Sauced up before they got to go to the in-laws.
Pretty much. Except I am the home where everybody goes to. This year, I think we cooked for, I had like 24 people.
Good night.
I love it. And then it's nice because when everybody's here, they all clean up afterwards.
Oh, well, that's double nice. Yeah, I love to cook. It's therapeutic to me. So like
Me too.
I did Thanksgiving this year and my sister-in-law did it and we went over to their house and it's just the sister-in-law and the mother-in-law over there and they were in the midst of moving and stuff and they didn't have anywhere to go. So we went over there and did that this year and and then when I get with my family, we quit doing the big family thing because there was like almost 100 of us. So we quit doing that and just our small family.
That is a lot.
It's insane. And I'm like, I don't know these people. Like I wasn't close to any of them. We'd only see them once a year at Thanksgiving. And it was only once every other year, every third year, because we would rotate families for the holidays, because Thanksgiving, I'm not doing more than one family because we're eating, we're pigging out, we're having a good time. I'm not doing it twice. I think we tried that one year and I'm like, no. Christmas, we can make all of them work for Christmas. Thanksgiving, not so much. Thanksgiving's a one and done kind of thing. Easter's pretty much the same way with that, I think, too.
Yeah, Christmas, we do Christmas Eve here. And then we do Christmas morning at my dad's house. And then it's nice. My mother-in-law, who I absolutely love, she's like the best mother-in-law ever. We do Boxing Day. which
Oh, you do
is a
Boxing
Canadian
Day.
holiday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we do
I
Boxing
learned about
Day.
that through Jonathan.
Yep. I think he asked me one day what we were doing, and I was like, we do Boxing Day. And he was like, you know what that is? And I'm like, yeah, we celebrate it.
Because he talks to people like me who don't know what anything is. He'll talk about bagged milk, and I'm like, huh? He'll talk about Boxing Day, huh? He'll talk about the little red flower thing that people wear. I forget what it's called. And he's like, you know about that? No, he knows what I'm saying. He's going to put it in the chat. But it's some kind of flower, and people wear it on a certain day for realizing something, I think. I don't know. And I'm like, yeah,
symbols.
I'm like, a poppy. That's it. Poppy. I'm like, man, I don't know what that is. And he's like, you don't know what that is? I'm like, no, dude, I'm a redneck from Georgia. I don't know what nothing is, man. I know about four-wheel drive and mud. I know about fried food, mud, four-wheel drive, whatever. That's I ain't done none of that in a long time. So I'm losing who I am.
Right.
I'm slowly becoming more Canadian as I get to know him more and more. That's for sure.
Well, daughter said that. I said something the other day, and I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, A? And she's like,
A.
Okay, you're hanging out with Sean too much, Mom. You're saying A. It's like, I didn't even notice I said it. That was kind of funny.
Yep.
You got anything else you want to touch on over there? I know you said you had a few things pulled up.
Well, and it's not the symbolism in the films, but just Joy was saying this. So I think this kind of goes with some of what Joy was saying. And I might have to mute my mic when I share this. I think it doubles up my audio. But a couple of clips. So I'll just play it. It's not long. I'll stop it.
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do this?
Everybody.
Okay, and, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these. Some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen, and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes.
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby. That's what it is.
Okay.
Who comes up with this?
I don't think. It's not like I'm lying there with little pieces all over my face. It's like,
who thinks of collecting it and having it?
I know somebody was saying it was low volume. It may be low volume. I don't know if you heard it well, but
I heard it. It was on the lower side.
Okay, but and I wish I can figure out how to do that at some point. But she's saying they were injecting skin from a foreskin of a youth far away. No, it's probably not that. It's probably along the lines of adrenochrome. And here's another one along those lines. Hopefully the audio is better on this one. And it goes into a song, so I'll make sure I stop it before it does. It's a great song, though. But don't want any copyright strikes for you there.
Your boyfriend have been in a good relationship for quite a moment now.
For 7 years.
Now he's an early 30 and you're a late 50.
Yeah.
But somehow you both look the same age there. I mean, there's something to be said for being with a younger man.
I suck baby's blood and put it on my face.
That's what I mean. Right out there.
Look at her face. As soon as he said that, her face was just like, Did he
Her
just
face
say
was.
that?
Oh, I'm echoing.
I don't know if it's a. Are we echoing? Echoing? Okay. Let me kill
You're
that.
not.
Oh, I'm not. Okay.
It's so
whatever.
weird. I like hear myself talking and then I hear it again.
There we go. All right. Maybe you don't now. Hopefully not now. So
Nope.
it's her face like that. I don't know if that is, oh my God, I can't believe he just said that. That is disgusting. That is sick. That is weird. Or
Oh my
if
God, they're gonna
it's,
come after me.
yeah, like, oh, he just exposed, something awful that we all talk about behind closed doors. I don't know which look that was, but what a weird thing to say if it's not legit. Like that
Did
was
you?
it.
Go ahead.
Well, all the points that like Sean and some others were making, like some of it is like to make fun of it or to, kind of make light of it, to make us sound crazy. That right there, I can't think of anything other than him just letting the cat out of the bag. Like that was just so obscene. Like even the audience was like, oh, taken aback. I mean, that was not well received. It wasn't like a Jim Carrey being a goofball and, being a nut, talking about the Illuminati and all this and that. This is completely legit, in my opinion.
It's disgusting. And do you see what's happening with her currently? They have her there's a video. Do you have that one pulled up?
No, it's
I don't
been
know
a
if you do.
while since I've heard anything of her, but I know she was going through some stuff, wasn't she?
So they're saying she has Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that. And they literally put her like quote unquote in like a home. And there's videotapes of her crying like on a cell phone, trying to convince people that she's not crazy. And supposedly, allegedly, again, guys, I don't know if this is fact or true. But allegedly she has videotape that she either turned in or was about to turn in of specific people that did horrible, horrible things to people like Justin Bieber and company. So is she really going through that, or is she trying to bring everything to the light to try to call out these people after everything she's either been through or, who knows? Who knows? She was a big time alcoholic. Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the thing I remember most about her was when she was dressed as like the Statue of Liberty, I think it was, on the show, and like she passed out while they were live or something. I mean, God only knows what caused that. Yeah. Who knows what could have caused that? These people that are in the limelight like this, though, in Hollywood and these morning shows, late night shows, whatever, this propaganda shows, really, they are on so many probably uppers, downers, controlling substances, the MK Ultras, the whatever. I mean, they work for the machine, and when you're part of it, like you're saying, I mean, you get brought in on all kinds of stuff. You probably have all kinds of blackmail on each other, and that's what keeps everybody accountable. What I've noticed is, to your point, if she was going to release that stuff, then everything happened. It's like all these other people. It's like Corey Feldman has said so many times, I'm going to release this, or I'm going to expose this, or I'm going to, and for some reason, nothing's really happened to him. I mean, he's still out there doing his thing. Still a goofball, weird guy, probably because of things he went through. But like for most other people, it's like, I'm going to expose this, and then boom, dead or locked up or put away in an insane asylum or something. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so note to self as a filmmaker, someone who may at some point have some inner workings and relationships with people in the industry. If you got dirt, just submit it. Don't say you're going to, because I think some people are like, hey, look, man, I don't want to expose you, but if you don't do this, so, okay, you're going to get suicided tomorrow, before you get to put it in. Like, just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. What did, not true, Chris. Corey is hiding and running. Corey is not in hiding and running. Corey was just in my old hometown of Macon, Georgia, playing at a place called Society Gardens, and it was promoted, and it was embarrassing. But I mean, he's out in public playing gigs with his band and stuff, so he's not hiding in that sense. I mean, maybe in other ways, I don't know, but he's pretty out there. He's a pretty out there dude. I think if somebody wanted to get him, they could easily get to him.
Yeah. Like you said, if they're going to come out, just come out and say it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know the consequences, and that's your internal battle that you need to come out, you know what I mean? And say, okay, I'm asking for your guidance. I know what I need to do. And what's the consequence? The consequences is what? Going to meet your maker? That doesn't tell the truth. Put it out there, and you will be internally forever grateful to the world and God. You know what I mean? That's what your job is to spread the word, bring darkness to light. And that's what, Joyce told me, because I even told her that, when I put all this out there, I was like, I don't know if I should cancel this. Like, I don't know, like I'm being pulled in different directions. Like, do I do this? And she was like, absolutely. The reason you're being pulled to the side of you shouldn't do this is because they don't want this to come out. They don't want people to inform other people. So say your prayers, read your Bible, bless, everything before you start, and close it off. And, when you say your ending prayers, let them know that nothing is allowed to follow you or bother you after.
Yeah. I wish I had more time to not that I didn't have time of you giving me the heads up that we were going to do this, but just
it was like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but just more time on my calendar where I had the time to invest
we can always
in this,
do a follow-up.
because there's so much that we can go through. I feel like we just kind of skip through some symbolism, and we talked about so many other things too, but there's so many layers here and so much here that it feels like a Sean show where it's so easy to get off the rails because there's so many different avenues you can take depending
we didn't
on
even talk about
you're
the
talking
different
about.
symbols and what they mean. Like, what does that circle mean? What does the triangle mean? What does the butterfly mean? They all mean different things.
And when I was, again, not the Hollywood thing, but when I was working in retail, I was fortunate to have a store manager at one point in time that was very tight with the Lord, and we'd sit in her office and say, "Did you see that new line that came in?" "Which one?" "The kids ones." "No, I didn't notice anything." "Go out there and look at it again." "Bunch of owls." He's like, "Yeah, owls are a symbol of death." And yeah, go look at that one.
Yeah.
And it's like got all these different little symbols and imagery on it that, again, why is it on all the clothes? Where's the plain clothes? Like, why do all of them have to have some kind of symbol or design that makes you question it? Like, there's a lot it's forced upon us. Like you said, in our pop culture and our films and our TV and our devices, to the clothes we wear, to everything else.
It's even hidden in the songs and in different frequencies and vibrations. I mean, we're just going by what they're telling us. Again, frequency. Every word you say has a meaning. And just because you give, happy a meaning, is that really, could it have been something different back in the day? Like, happy birthday song, that's a ritual. That's not something should be celebrated. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that. That raven. Well, the owl, that was another thing that I dove into, but I can't even think of it now. But there's like a place in the forest that they go to, the elites, and it's like a big owl.
Oh, we can't go into that right now. Bohemian Grove.
That. Yeah. So
That
Cindy K,
is,
that's where the owl comes from, but the raven also has its own symbolism and own meaning as well.
yeah, maybe that's what we were talking. I don't know.
Yeah, but
But
there's, I mean, there's
yeah,
so many
yeah.
avenues we could take.
Yeah, but yeah. So the boldness of them to put it in our face in films, and then like you said, the fact that they would do the things they did, like alleged, because I don't want us to get sued, allegedly accused Charlie Sheen of what he did to Corey Haim on the set of Lucas, where he just bent him over in between trailers and started going to town on his, going to town on him or whatever. And people would walk by and knew it was going on. Producers would do all kinds of stuff. There's Shirley Temple was interviewed on Larry King Live, and they said when they went over to MGM, she was a child and taken
In one
into
room, and
a
mom
producer's
was in
room,
the
and he
other.
was naked, and the mom was in the other one, and it was. So they're like, yeah, we kind of like Fox better than MGM. We went back to Fox, and it was taught like, but no one does anything for two reasons: the control that they have, and probably the fear of speaking out and doing anything.
I think it comes down to that. And I struggled with this too, back and forth in and out of faith and stuff like that, death is I thought was a scary thing. And it is a scary thing because it's unknown, and your fear generally isn't, because your life is ending. It's what people are going to do around you when you're not here. But time and time again, that's proven when a loved one passes with you that you do get by and you do get through, and everything will be okay. You know what I mean? So it just frustrates me when people know certain things that they just don't come out and say it. You know what I mean? Because they're afraid of death. That's the ultimate thing that they're afraid of. Because they know what's going to happen. They're going to be suicided with 5 bullets to the back of the head for coming out. You know what I mean? Or an accident where they crash their car. You know what I mean? Or plane accident. Look at Kobe Bryant. He was supposed to testify against pharma. You know what I mean? It's terrible.
And again, not to steer this conversation there, but as Eyes Wide Shut had Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman in there who were part of the Church of Scientology, and that whole thing is, I mean, they fought. If you do successfully leave the church, they will try to get you fired from your job, get you excommunicated from your family. They will follow you, and they stalk you, almost threaten you. And that's if you leave, if you get to leave. Some people
that
don't
chick
get
from
to leave.
Kings and Queens.
Yes.
What's her name?
Leah Remini.
Lena. Yeah, she's from Jersey or New York. I love her accent. When she ever gets,
definitely
she
Jersey,
gets
I
going,
think, yeah.
her mouth is like, whoo.
Yeah, my wife listened to her and the guy that she did. They had a podcast, and she would talk about it a lot. And outside of that,
She still does.
Yeah, and I think he died recently. But outside of that, like they like people would talk about like that I was able to leave. I snuck out, but I could always see that this one particular van was always following me. It was at my apartment and was here, and they just had so much power and control. And it makes you wonder, like, okay, the Church of Scientology is openly admitted they're not a religious organization church, but they are to get the tax stuff, right? But at the same time, they definitely worship something. And it's not just, I mean, even if it is just money, I mean, the money is the root of all evil, or the love of money is the root of all evil. I mean,
Yes.
they worship.
I had that conversation with my kids, and we went back and forth. I was like, money is just an object. It's not the money. It's the love of the money.
Yep. So, yeah, there's a lot of that happens within that organization as well. But again,
Cat Williams said there's 3 doors. You got fame and fortune. You got, hey, maybe you can do some of these things, like we'll use you when we need you. And if you look through those doors and you see what they're doing on that other side, and we know what's going on that other side because people have come out and told us, you go out that other door, you're done. You don't have a career. You're finished.
It's scary stuff. I mean, living is more scarier than dying, for sure, when you know who your maker is. So navigating this
like you
life.
said, I used to be afraid. Like, I'd literally be like, am I having a heart attack? And I'm like, dude, you're like 22. Like, you're not dying. And I was always like, oh my God, what if I die? What if I die? And now I don't think about it anymore. You know what I mean? I pray to God. I put my hands and my trust, and it's all up to him. It's all in his hands, and I know where I'm going, and I'm sure I'll be happier on the other side.
Oh, for sure.
I love my family here, and this was the life that I was chosen to have, but I'm sure that heaven is much more beautiful, and I will see them all again.
Yep.
I live in Clearwater, Florida. How of Scientology.org, where L. Ron Hubbard parked his barely floating ships and have been buying up tax-free property here ever since. Kills property owners here.
Home of Seaboard. Yeah, well, he used to get on those his boats out into what do they call international waters to do some stuff, I think. What an interesting individual. In fact, I just watched the South Park episode on that one too long ago.
You want to know what's funny?
What's that?
So we all know Gina's past. Gina was not a Republican. Gina was brainwashed by the wonderful state of Massachusetts. You know, that's a whole nother thing, but I digress. But like, I hated South Park. Now I think it's hilarious. It's the craziest thing. I went from absolutely like, do not put that on in my presence to, oh my God, this is hilarious. This is it.
I think they're one of the last true comedic, like little shows that are out there. I mean, everybody else is bent the knee. They won't.
Yeah.
And they go after conservatives nonstop. I mean, they go after conservatives. They go after Democrats. The point is just to be funny and to make light of things and make fun of things, and everybody can laugh at themselves, or used to be able to. And I think it's great. Again, it's just my mind-numbing show. When we get off here, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna put it on TV. Probably watch it for about 30 minutes to an hour and pass out if I last that long.
I put on The Office.
The Office
or
is the
New
same
Girl.
way. Sometimes you got to put on that stuff where you don't have to like be thinking, just so you can shut
No, because
everything
you already
off
know what's
long enough.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people that are like, we were talking about this, like introverts and whatnot. It's a comforting thing to have stuff like that in the background. The Vampire Diaries, The Office, what was she was watching King of Queens recently.
I love
in the background, you know, stuff like that, you know, because it's no mystery there. Chris, you need to see Ren and Stimpy. I used to watch Ren and Stimpy when I was a kid.
It's back out. Me and my daughter found it.
Oh, really?
It's on one of the streaming ones. Like, what do I have? It's either on like Hulu or
probably Paramount.
Peacock or Paramount. It's on one of those. And it's like the original 1991. And she put it on and she was like, and I'm watching her watch this. And she was like, do you see what they just did? And what they just said? Like, because she's now starting to pick up on the subtle clues of, oh, wait a second. Mom, did you catch that? And I'm like, I don't know if I want you to watch this. But then again, it's like, it's a kids show. Like, that's what we grew up on. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Absolutely.
or Ren and Stimpy.
It was on Nickelodeon, which we all know about Nickelodeon.
My daughter wants me to do a show about that. So maybe one day we can revisit that one.
Yeah.
But that one's going to be very deep, very hard. I still have not watched that movie. My husband did. He did allow Erin to watch it. He's like, she's got to know the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still haven't watched it. Just like I still haven't watched The Sound of Freedom with all that either. It's just, I feel things way too much. Like I'll watch something, I'll look at somebody, and I'll just feel whatever they're feeling, their sadness, their dread, I feel it. And sometimes I have to, like, even if it's on TV, I feel it and I have to pull myself away. So I have to be very careful when I do certain things.
Yeah. The Nickelodeon one, Quiet on Set, it was a good watch, and exposed a lot. Like I say, there was a lot of stuff in there I feel like might have been a little reaching a little bit. And then they came out with a second one that was a follow-up to it. Not worth the watch. It basically had nothing to do with the first part. And it was just a way to cash in on it. Because they invited some of the other people back that were on there, not any of the main people or anything, but some of the people, and they're like, yeah, let's talk more about the sexism and the racism towards you guys. It's like, well, that wasn't really the highlight of this. It was the sexual abuse and the crookedness and everything that was done to these children in such a way. Like everything else just kind of seemed like it was reaching. And that second one, the second one made me not even like the first one almost. But but the first part was very, the first part was very, very eye-opening. The second part of that thing, just I'd skip it. Like I'd skip Godfather Part 3. Not worth it. Doesn't add anything of value. I just saw a light flicker. You got Thor at your house? Somebody stick something in a light bulb outlet or something. And now the light's out. Somebody's dead.
I told him that's my stepdad. I was hoping maybe that would take the red out of everything. I think it was like reflecting off the kitchen. And hopefully with the light off now, everyone will, I mean, it's 11 o'clock. They should all be sleeping.
But I covered Quiet on Set. I covered it on my show. And I talked about it in pretty good depth. And that was a hard one to watch, and it was a hard one to talk about, kind of like, like this. I mean, it's, and then you heard from some of the people that were directly affected by it, and you knew of some of the other people that were. So, and again, it was one of those things that was part of your childhood. So it's pretty rough watch. Yeah.
And that's what I, think about with all of these, different things of, which political party you're part of and stuff like that. Like, it's how much do you believe? What do you see? What do you don't see? I don't know. It's just everything is connected. And it's just, it always goes back, and you always hear it. You have to protect the children. That's what they go after. So the older I got, the more I felt safe. But now the fear of having your kids, it's a whole new level. Like, I mean, anybody with kids, I mean, you have a daughter, I have 3. Every day is fear. You wake up, my son takes the car. You know what I mean? What's going to happen? My daughter goes to school. My husband drives to work on the highway. Like, my grandmother's 87. I watch her pull out of the driveway when she backs out. You know what I mean? Like, you just, it's crazy, but it's the children that they always go after. And it's heartbreaking. It makes me feel too much. And sometimes I feel like that's not such a good thing, but it is a good thing. Feelings are valid and they are good to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what they're talking about in there. Not talking about PCs.
That's probably everything that I've got that I was gonna throw out there for this particular stream here.
I think that's I kind of showed everything I had. Like I said, there were, and because you did the deep dive too, and you guys, I love your nerdy shows that you guys do and stuff. But there are, like I said, 2 hours. We didn't even go in depth into one thing. It was just kind of like a Facebook reel, like ding, 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 like bouncing off of everything.
Which is great. It's like ADHD. It's like boom, boom, boom. Everybody has a short attention span right now anyway. That's why reels do so good.
Exactly. But it's kind of weird. My anxiety feels better. You know what I mean? I feel calmer. I feel more at peace now that we did this. And I hope everyone in the audience enjoyed this one. I know maybe it was a little hard for some people, a little, I don't want to say sad. I mean, it is sad. I feel like more people are angered by this now. And now, anger is heavy. Anger, I feel, is like almost a worse emotion than sad. Sad sucks, but anger is overwhelming and definitely can take over really quickly. So, but I feel like this one was a good one. I enjoyed it. And I hope to have you back on again soon.
Yeah, well, you know how to get me. I'd love
You'll
to
be back.
I'd love to. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Yes. And maybe next time, yes, we're definitely going to say a prayer, JC, before we go 100%. Me and Chris talked about that prior to starting this. And I just want to thank you guys all again for showing up, saying hi, making the chat fun with your opinions and your love and your support and your shares and your likes, and absolutely enjoy every single one of you. And I will be back again next Sunday. I have a few different topics that I have to it's so bad because there's so many ones that you find, and I'm like, oh, which one do I choose? So I end up like deep diving like everything, and I'm like, pick one. So probably in the middle of the week, I will have it narrowed down to what it's going to be. It's definitely going to be more lighthearted, more fun, and not as heavy and as deep. So
next weekend's going to be big. So Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Off the Rails, Sean's.
Yes.
Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm assuming. You always do it at 9?
Yes.
Okay. So 9 o'clock on Sunday night, Mom's Mysteries and Mayhem. And then Monday night at 10 p.m. will be my live stream next weekend of Monday Night Mayhem. So it's going to be a full weekend, guys. Y'all get ready for that. Get your sleep on. Fill your tummies. You're not stepping away from the computer for a while.
Nope. We got you all wrapped. I'll be in the middle like an Oreo cookie.
Nice. It's the best part too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get it double stuffed.
They don't make double shelled or whatever. They make double stuffed because the stuffing is the best. Absolutely.
All that, yeah. But now I haven't had them in this house for so long. When I eat one, that like waxy coating of whatever they have in that cream is. Bleh.
I will tell you that Oreos are my weakness.
See, mine are nacho Doritos and peanut butter M&Ms. Those are my two weaknesses.
I clearly have a lot, but yeah, no, Oreos are And thank y'all everybody for tuning in. I mean, a lot of you guys are obviously, familiar names out there, and love that love like Jay's saying, the community that we have, we all support each other and go to show, but see a lot of names I've never seen before. So if you're new here, obviously
I've seen a few in there that I haven't seen before.
But Gina's just started this journey. So please, like she said, do consider subscribing or following and liking and coming back and following her, because she's just starting this journey and she's already miles ahead of people that have been doing this thing for a while. So she's doing an incredible job. She's got great folks coming on. I know Sean, myself, and several others have been behind her for a little while, encouraging her to get going. So it's great to see. We love her, and praying for all of the success in the world for you, and super thrilled that you're out here doing it. So if you are new here, she's still fairly new. So show her some love, support her, and get behind her. And then, like I said, you can follow me at My Morning Mayhem as well. And then there's a gaggle of us in the chat. So, welcome to the family.
Welcome to the family. Just see a picture in your chat, click it, follow them. Make sure you set those notification bells. Sometimes I do randomly. I did that. Was it last episode? Prior to that, I randomly went on to do like a little watch party. So make sure you have your notification bells on so you don't miss anything. And hopefully now Chris will take us out in a protection prayer, letting, the evil spirits and, let them know that they have no power over us and they are not allowed to harm us or you guys or anyone watching in any way. And Chris is going to take that off for us.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and pray. Father, again, I thank you so much for this opportunity just to be a representative of you and your word and your greatness and your love, as well as your safety, your security, and knowing that you are in charge. No matter how deep and dark things can get, we know whose world this is. This is yours, and these lives are gifts from you. And Lord, we're so grateful for what we have, even our struggles, Lord. We just thank you at every turn that we get. Tonight we covered some things that may have opened us up, open our minds, open our spirits and curiosity to make us want to dig deeper or to search within ourselves or in our habits, Lord. And I do pray that we are exposed to the things that we need to be exposed to, but we're also protected from the things that we don't need to go towards, that we need to steer clear of, that are dangerous to us. By any means, emotionally, spiritually, physically, or whatnot, that you just guide us and protect us through those things. And again, like Gina was saying, Lord, we claim your name, we claim the protection that you provide, and we ward off any evil doing spirits of any kind. And they should know at this point that if they don't already know, they have no dominion here over our lives, in our homes, in our hearts, in our families. That all these families are claimed in the name of the name and the blood of Jesus Christ, and that we are protected through him, which is the gift through you. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. That was a beautiful prayer. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining our crazy mayhem. When, mayhem meets mayhem. It's a great time. So again, thank you all. Have a wonderful night. I hope you all have a great Monday and make this week your, you know that word that I want to say, but just make this week yours. All right. Thanks, everybody.
We're there.
Where?
Here. A small step for mankind, but a giant step for us.